Hi, Lauren.
Hi, Ellen.
Thank you for joining me for our Meet the Artist interview series.
Thanks for having me.
I am starting off with everyone asking, how old were you when you started taking ballet, and how did that start?
Um, I was 7 when I started taking ballet, and it all started. So I have a twin sister, and my mom made my sister and I always be in an activity. So whether it be gymnastics or swimming or soccer or figure skating, we always had to have like an extracurricular activity. So, we would go to dance class, and my sister was used to be like, when we were little, she was a really good tapper, and I just like did not have the knack for that. I loved ballet, but tapping was not my thing. And I was like, okay. And so my sister knew what she wanted to do. She comes to my mom and is like, I want to play soccer. So my mom found her a travel soccer league in Peoria, Illinois, which is about an hour away from where we used to live. And so my mom was like, well, we're going to Peoria, so you have to find something to do, something that we can do in Peoria. So I went to my mom and I told her that I wanted to dance. And so she found me the Peoria Ballet, and I auditioned, and I think I was 7. I think it was like in September or something like that. And it was also an audition for Nutcracker. And so my first performance experience was Nutcracker, and I was a mother ginger child. And in this version, there was like the naughty child, the one that wouldn't go back under the skirt.
Uh-huh.
And that was my first solo role. And after that, I was hooked. So my mom thought that this was like dancing was going to be a phase. So I was like, okay. And I like laugh at that now, because she was like, yeah, you just kept asking to take more and more classes. She was like, if you take on more dance classes, you're going to have to give up you're going to have to compromise or give up like certain things, in life that Haley might be doing, because she doesn't have to go to soccer practice on Saturdays or have a show on Friday night or whatever. And I like didn't care. I was like, I will gladly give up anything so I can dance.
So then at what point, I know you ended up going to the University of North Carolina School of the Arts, or
Mm-hmm.
NCSA, as everyone calls it,
Yes.
which is like a full-time arts boarding school, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, it
So
is.
what did you start freshman year there?
No, so my parents, like, I always knew that I wanted to go away for high school, but my parents really wanted me to have like at least a normal high school experience. Make that decision if I wanted to go away for sure or not. So I had I was went to Peoria Notre Dame, which is a Catholic high school, um, for my freshman and sophomore year, and I just knew that this normal high school experience wasn't for me. I wanted something more, and I just wanted to dance more. And so I went for my junior and senior year.
So
So,
how did you end up at NCSA? Because there aren't a ton of dance boarding schools in this country, but there are like several,
right.
and it's
Um,
not like it's nearby Peoria.
no, it's not. North Carolina is not close. Um, I went, so, I did a lot of research, and so did my mom. I wanted something that kind of felt like a regular high school, something that I would actually go to, you know, my math class or my science class, and it wasn't just through a correspondence. And as great as, other schools or other boarding schools are, it's harder academically because you are doing correspondence. But it was the only school, at least the time that I went, had every art form. So it had ballet, modern, makeup, music, musical theater, like opera singing, drama, like classical guitar, like it has visual arts. So
wow, I had no idea.
Yeah, it has every single art. And then the college program has a film program. So I mean, every weekend, like we hardly left campus because obviously nobody had cars, and it didn't matter because there was always so much happening on campus. Having teachers who were in like the glory days of ABT, people who actually met Balanchine. That's when I really knew my life was about to change, or of course you have to be hungry for this career. You can't be lazy, but there was just like that fire burning in my belly, and I was just like, I want it all. Like I couldn't absorb things fast enough.
So they have such a good alumni network. So I'm guessing that it's a great place when it was time to like audition and find a job.
So they did what's called a job fair, and it would be a weekend, and they would have certain companies come or certain people from different companies come and hold classes. So they saw everybody but also a lot of companies came and auditioned at NCSA. They would also write letters of recommendation, call their friend if they knew somebody at a certain company. They would also help us if we needed like a recommendation on where they think we should audition. And
so if I'm correct, your first stop was Rochester City Ballet?
Yes.
Okay. As an apprentice.
Mm-hmm.
And then again at the Joffrey.
Yes.
Do you think apprenticing is good? Like, maybe what I should say is, do you feel like you benefited from the apprenticeship experience, or was it just sort of like being a regular company member getting paid less?
I definitely benefited from the apprenticeship that I had, because as a student, you think that at least for me at NCSA, I felt like I was already a professional. I felt it was the way that I was treated, and I felt like I was already there. But that's because everybody else I was dancing with were also students. So I didn't realize that from the jump from being a student to professional was so large. And that was definitely something that I learned through that apprenticeship.
So then you, from Joffrey, you went to Ballet Memphis, right?
From Joffrey, I went to Milwaukee Ballet.
Milwaukee, okay. Missed that. And then to Memphis.
Yes.
And at Milwaukee and Memphis, were you like a full company member?
In Milwaukee, I was in the second company, and then halfway through, or like after Nutcracker, they promoted me to like an apprentice company, and then so I finished the season with Milwaukee, and then they said that they weren't going to renew my contract, so then I didn't have anything after that. So I kind of took a year off, kind of retrained, and then I went to Ballet Memphis, and there I was a full company member.
Where did you spend the year off?
In Chicago, just training. And so I think I did that year, I think I did 25 auditions.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
And I remember my last one, I think it was Nashville Ballet. And I get home and like my hair is like to here. Like my hair was so long. My last one, I just cut it to I cut like 10 inches off. And I was like, I am like, I've done everything I possibly can. And, it was email after email of like, no, thanks. We're going to go in a different direction. Oh, it's between you and this other person, but this other person, we're going to go with her. And it was just so, like, I was like, okay, I've heard from almost everybody now, and it doesn't look like it's going to happen. And so my papa, my grandpa, he and I were going to see Joffrey Ballet do Romeo and Juliet. And we were actually in the car driving to the city, to Chicago. And I get an email on my phone, and I open it up, and it's from the associate director at Ballet Memphis congratulating me on my contract. And I just screamed and like started crying. And my papa was like, what? And I go, I got a job. And he was like, what? And he's like, let me see the email. And so he reads the email, and he's crying, I'm crying, like we just look a mess. Timing is everything, and which is so crazy because it's nothing you can control. And that's the hardest part of being a dancer is timing, because you never know.
Yeah, and you never know whether like the dancer leaving is the director looking to replace them with someone similar or someone different. Like, are they thinking this is our opportunity to go in a different direction, or are they thinking that was really successful, let's get another one?
Right, yeah. And that's one thing that I don't think that I was prepared for.
So how long were you in Memphis?
I was there for 2 seasons.
Okay. And now you're with Smuin, and this is your 5th?
Yeah, can you believe it?
No, because we started the same time.
I know. Which is just nuts.
And obviously this season's a little different.
Yeah.
But are there still things you're excited about for this season?
Oh gosh.
Or just like being in the studio again?
I was like, honestly, like my perspective of things has definitely changed. I'm so grateful to, for one, have a job and doing something, because a lot of companies are canceled until January. So, for Smuin to, really like pioneer through all of this. And, we're so lucky to have such incredible donors and support for us to be able to do this. I'm just so grateful to be part of an organization that's like, no, we're going to do everything that like nothing's off the table. Like everything, we're going to at least try it. And I just think the possibilities are endless with Smuin. I think that we haven't even like tapped into it all yet. And, with the online classes and, our, with the whole pandemic, I think that we've reached a broader audience. And so it's going to be amazing to see what happens once theaters open again, to see if those people who saw Smuin on social media come and see us.
You mentioned our online classes, and you are teaching Pilates.
I am.
So
yes.
You recently got certified?
I've been
Or,
certified for actually quite a while.
oh, okay.
Um, it's something that I so I started taking Pilates classes like almost pretty much every morning once I started at Joffrey. And I was getting older and I was like, oh, this would be a great way for me to make some extra side money. And at that time, I never did anything with it. Like I didn't really have the time as like in second company. So this is actually like the first time I'm really doing something with it. And I love Pilates. I think it is so beneficial to dancers, to everybody really.
What's it like teaching Pilates through Zoom?
Well, I'm a very tactile person, so I really like to touch. Um, so that's difficult, but you have to be a good communicator um, and for me as a person, I'm not a great communicator. So being a Pilates teacher really has pushed me to, like, you have to find your words, like, oh, like really scoop, like imagery really helps. I happen to be a visual learner, so I like to give them a reference of what needs to happen, as well as verbal cues too.
What do you think are the benefits of it for non-dancers?
Pilates,
Yeah.
oh gosh, I mean, moving in general for anybody is so healing, but it's also beneficial because it's so much about the core, like strengthening your abdominals. But I don't think people, at least non-dancers, don't really realize how important your core muscles are, and you have to have them, because if you don't, like, if you have weak abdominals, it shows up in your back. For non-dancers, just even having some body awareness.
Okay, one last question.
Sure.
And you can go past or future with this. You can pick.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a favorite ballet that you've danced or choreographer that you've worked with? Or do you have a dream ballet to dance or dream choreographer to work with?
Oh gosh.
And you don't have to limit yourself to one.
Okay. Oh gosh. This is, I really would love to do, would really, really love to do Dances at a Gathering by Jerome Robbins. Like, I just love that music, and I love those, like, I just love that ballet. Anything Killian, like, I would love to do Petite More, Wings of Wax, or like, I would love to do Bella Figura. Favorite roles that I've done and choreographers that I've worked with, I love Val Caniparoli. So any Val ballet would be amazing, but I really enjoyed Sushi.
That was so much fun.
I really enjoyed Sushi, and I really hope that, and I can't wait to do it again. One ballet that I think about a lot is Indigo.
Oh.
Stanton Welsh.
Yeah.
And I love Dawn Scannell, who set the ballet. I loved her. I would love to do that ballet again. That ballet was so hard, but it was so rewarding. Honestly, I love Amy Seiwert. Find that I do a lot of her roles in Michael Smuin stuff. Like right now I'm learning Swonderful, which is another Michael Smuin ballet that was created on Amy Seiwert, and it is hard and fast and technical and turny, and I'm just like, I love Amy Seiwert's dancing, from all the videos I've seen of her. I think that she's a fantastic choreographer, and I think she really believed in me. It was my first season in the company, and we did Broken Open, and she had
Love that.
just
So
loved that
great.
ballet. Yeah. And I really wanted, I had seen that ballet because I asked, or because Robbie showed me a video of it, and I knew that as soon as I watched that video, I was like, I knew that I wanted to do that opening solo. And so I watched that ballet so many times to learn that solo before I went into the studio and before we started working with her. And she gave me that solo to do. And she also believed in me enough to do the final pas de deux. And so she really gave me an opportunity to show, Amy and Celia what I can do. And so any chance I have to work with her again would just be amazing.
Thank you for
Thank you.
participating in the interview.
Yeah, it's my pleasure.